Hello friends, welcome back to Star Styles Homestead. I have a new one for you today. I am going to just throw this together. It's with leftovers and my bread bowls. I want to just show you this before I start. Look at my bread bowls. Don't those look delicious? Good thing I checked it because those only took 20 minutes. I was thinking, oh, they took about 30 minutes last time. So I'm glad I got up and checked them. Those are perfect. I like crunchy. And this is what I'm making. This was last night's dinner out on the smoker. It's Boston butt. I put it in the oven today at 250 for about 3 hours just to make sure it really pulled apart on me. And let me tell you, this is going to, look, this is going to come apart really nice. So, oh, look at that, my friends. Yep. Yummy, yummy. So, I'm going to get all the stuff together and get it ready. And I will be right back. Alrighty. So, I have my pan with a little oil. I took one large onion. Who doesn't like onions in chili? And I cut them into big, chunky pieces. I am not going to saute these so soft that you lose them because I want chunky. So I am just going to get these going to soften them up a little bit. And I'm also using 1 thing of kidney beans, my kidney beans, and 1 thing of black beans. I am going to strain this because you can use this. I don't want it in my chili. So I'm going to strain both of them, and I'm using my Rotel and diced tomatoes and stuff for my juice. That's what I want. I'll be right back. Look at this, my friends. All I did was pull that off the bone. I am going to leave that for the guys if they, by chance, look at this. It literally comes apart that easy. In case they want something different this week, maybe I'll make some sandwiches out of it or whatever. But this was an 8-pound roast for $11. So I'm just going to chunk this all up with my 2 forks to bite-sized pieces, shreds, whatever you want to call them. And last night we had barbecue pork, pulled pork. So that's why I'm not doing barbecue pulled pork. And that's easy enough. I have never, and I don't want them that big, so I'm going to cut that in half. And I'm going to use my fingers because it's easier. And my hands are clean. Yeah, look at that. So, yeah, everybody makes pulled pork out of it. Oh, look at that. That's the best. So I'm going to do this. Get those onions going. And I'll be right back. All right, friends. These are done. They get a little brown, but they're still nice and chunky. Got a little firmness to them. Now I'm just going to start adding everything in. I have 1 can of tomato sauce. Until this doesn't blow up at me, I'm going to turn this down a little bit. And then I have 1 can of diced tomatoes. I'm using them with jalapenos just to give it another little kick to it because the guys like it spicy. Or at least my husband does. Okay, and then I have a jar of Rotel. A little bit more spice. Ooh, look at that, my friends. I have my beans straining over here. 1 black and 1 pinto. I might even end up putting another jar of pinto beans in there. And I know some people say it ain't chili if you got beans. Isn't that Texas or something? Who knows? Okay. I have a jar of tomato paste. I open the top and the bottom, and I'm just going to push that right through. Take that top off. Get all that goodness in there and mix that in. It smells delicious. Oh my word. Now, I'm going to use my chili powder. I'm going to start with a tablespoon. And we'll go from there, because I'm just making this up as I go along. Paprika, smoked paprika. I'm going to just use a teaspoon of this for right now. And garlic powder. Let me just mix that in there. Now, if you want your chili, I'm going to put a tablespoon of garlic powder. That's about a tablespoon right there. I used probably a tablespoon of that. I'm only going to use a little bit of pepper. I think that was less than a teaspoon of pepper. I cut up all this meat. I might end up putting some more in there too. I did not use that whole thing of meat that I had out because this is just the three of us. So I have, look, this big chunk still left of what you seen earlier. But if I need more meat, I'll just throw it in. Let's put you back down here. You gotta have some juice for chili. So let's start with one. I might go with 2 cups. Yep, I'm gonna go with 2 cups. 2 cups of chicken broth. You can use beef broth too if you want, I guess. Or vegetable broth, whatever. Okay, I'm going to put another tablespoon of garlic powder. Oh, those onions are perfect. And I'll put half a tablespoon or so of chili powder. Pretty easy meal for leftovers. Now I'm going to add some onion powder. Tablespoon of onion powder. For now. Oh, you know what I am going to add? Alright friends, here's my other jar of pinto beans. Then I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of sugar. And see how that is. Sugar makes everything better, doesn't it? In my world it does, friends. So, now, whoa, splash. Doesn't that look good, my friends? That, really, friends? That came out perfect. The sugar, just a few tablespoons of sugar, just added a little bit more. And you know what? I think a little bit of lemon juice. I'm going to try a little bit of lemon juice. Of course, I'm using lemon juice, not a lemon. Although I do have lemons, I just don't feel like messing with them. So, that was a little more than a tablespoon. So let's see. Perfect. I'm going to get this together because it's 4 o'clock. It's right about his dinner time. And see what he thinks of it in the bowl. Of course, you got to add cheese. So I will be back. All right, my friends, check this out. Doesn't that look delicious? I just put a dollop sour cream in the middle. My cheddar cheese, I obviously cleaned out the inside of that, but I kept all the bread because that'll be good to dip. So let's try this. With the cheese and sour cream. Oh my God. Oh my word. That sour cream literally made this whole thing. Just adding that little bit more. Well, the cheese did too, but this is delicious. My friends. Oh. And I did add the rest of that chicken broth is what I'm trying to say. I added the rest of that chicken broth in here too. I said, I might as well, because the beans and everything will soak up more of that liquid, and I didn't want it dry. So I said, I'll just add the whole thing. So 4 cups. Oh my word. I wasn't sure I was going to like this because I'm not huge on pork. And you guys, make them. It took me 5 minutes to put it together, 1 hour to rise them, and they would, when I rolled them into balls, it took me another 15-20 minutes for those to rise. Threw them in the oven. Because of the size of them, they only took 20 minutes. I even had to put a thermometer in. I'm like, wait a minute, 20 minutes? And you want them between 195 and 205 to make sure they're done. They were perfect. I'm like, wow, because they were getting pretty dark. So there you have it, my friends. I hope you try it. If you have leftovers, you can use leftovers of anything, really, any meat, and make a chili. But I didn't want to waste that. And there's not many things you can make with it. Enchiladas and stuff like that. We had those last week. So I said, let me try a chili. 2 thumbs up. You guys, like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have, thank you. We'll be seeing you again. Ciao for now.